Am I correct in assuming that most of you have heard the name Hippocrates before? If not, he's the ancient Greek physician who is credited with making a number of different discoveries. He's referenced today. He's given the Hippocrates School of Medicine. He's also given a number of different quotes. For instance, he said, "Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food." He also said, "Walking is a man's best friend." I think my personal favorite is corpulence is not only a disease itself, but the harbinger of others. Together, these quotes demonstrate that Hippocrates clearly had an understanding of the impact of obesity and sedentary behavior on the individual and society long before it became a mainstream concern. Since then, obesity has become an area of increased interest. For instance, much later, the first metabolic tests were conducted during the 17th century. Around the 18th century, we see the first mention of atherosclerosis in a cadaver. However, according to an article in the Journal of Epidemiology, the first epidemiological approach to dealing with the obesity pandemic occurred during the 1940s. Since then, the obesity trend has continued to increase without any signs of stopping. In the past 3 decades, obesity rates have doubled. Today, 1.4 billion adults are classified as overweight. 200 million men and 300 million women worldwide are classified as obese. The statistics for children are similar. For instance, take the fact that in the United States, 17% of children ages 2 to 19 are obese. Or that as of 2010, 7% of children in South and Central Latin American countries are overweight or obese as well. While alarming, these trends really mean nothing if you are unaware of what the classifications are for being overweight or obese. It is by understanding the body mass index, or BMI, that we can begin to comprehend the obesity pandemic from a layman's perspective. The BMI depicts a ratio of an individual's weight in kilograms to their height in meters squared. And in a healthcare scenario, it's typically the most common measure of obesity. Guidelines from the American College of Sports Medicine, the American Heart Association, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as many other organizations worldwide, all define the classifications for overweight as a BMI between 25 and 30 kilograms per meter squared. For your average man, let's say 5'9", that's a range of 164 to 195 pounds. Or for a woman, let's say, who's 5 feet 4 inches tall, that's 145 to 173 pounds. Obesity, on the other hand, is defined as a BMI greater than 30 kilograms per meter squared. That same man would have to be 196 pounds or greater to be obese. The same woman would have to weigh 174 pounds. One potential cause of this gradual increase in weight is the globalization of the human race. Individuals can move from their cars to their desks, their couches, all while limiting their caloric burn. Globalized countries have allowed individuals access to food, technologies, and different efficiencies that they otherwise may not be able to access, which ultimately helps aid in our inactive lifestyles. Without the proper education, this globalization can perpetuate the energy imbalance that ultimately leads to weight gain and the subsequent complications that result from being obese. Hypertension, certain cancers, cardiovascular and cardiopulmonary diseases, diabetes, osteoarthritis, gallbladder disease all fall into this category, and the list goes on. As a result, there's an increase in the total cost of living for all who are affected by obesity, both by direct and indirect means. As of 1995, the direct costs associated with obesity, or the costs associated with the preventative, diagnostic, and treatment services related specifically to the disease in question, amounted to approximately $47,560 million in the United States. 90% of these direct costs were associated with 3 of those comorbidities: diabetes, coronary heart disease, and hypertension. The indirect costs from obesity, or the costs due to lost time and productivity as a result of sickness or death, were similar to that of smoking. With the growing trends of obesity in the United States, we can almost certainly project higher costs today. Similar numbers can be found from other countries around the world. As of 1997, for instance, 2.4% of Canada's total healthcare costs resulted from obesity and complications from obesity. Likewise, the Netherlands, Australia, and France devoted 4%, 2%, and 2% respectively of their total healthcare costs to obesity. With international costs like these, it is important for us to work together to find a global method of treatment for the obesity pandemic. This treatment starts with education. Education about proper sleep habits, proper nutrition, the detriments of sedentary behavior, proper weight loss techniques, and additional health and fitness education for school faculty, staff, students, and their families are all necessary for improved international health conditions, especially when dealing with the disease prevention by the reduction in the obesity pandemic. In addition, we must work at the community level to promote physical activity. Finally, we need to actively pursue health and fitness legislation in all countries. If individuals around the globe place priorities on understanding the challenges faced by the obese individual, the obesity pandemic will slowly become a thing of the past. This is where the Global Fitness Project comes into play. The Global Fitness Project strives to prevent obesity and disease for all individuals through health and fitness education and physical activity promotion. This grassroots movement will serve to provide you with leading information on health, fitness, and wellness topics on a day-to-day basis. We aim to continually provide programs that promote and enhance physical activity in the communities so that the option of participation is not only there, but it is enjoyable as well. In a world where all we need is 30 minutes of physical activity a day, the Global Fitness Project will make exercise and healthy habits a foundation of life. In doing so, we will accomplish our dream of eliminating obesity, its comorbidities, and other preventable disease worldwide. Email us at theglobalfitnessproject@gmail.com to learn how to get involved.